All right, we're gonna go ahead and get this meeting called to order. December 10th, 7 o'clock, roll call. Start, go ahead.
Tom Michael.
Michelle Otto.
Lloyd Johnson. Roy Henry.
And we've got Wendy, Wayne, and our new attorney Amy down there. Let's stand for Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we got a couple changes on the agenda. We are adding in the Lions liquor license for their Bean Bag tournament. That's going to go under the consent agenda under I.
Michelle?
Yeah.
Not liquor license, gambling license.
Gambling license, sorry, I'm used to the liquor on one of those days. Sorry. And then under new business, we are going to remove items A, B, and C.
What was this now?
Under new business,
A, B, and C?
A, B, and C down in new business. No, new business. Right here. Okay. Is there an approval then for the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Consent agenda. Any questions? Is there an approval?
I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Is there any open forum? No. All right, so then we're going to go ahead and close the normal meeting. So I need a motion to go ahead and close it.
If
I
you're
make the
holding a
motion
public
to-
hearing, are you just holding a public hearing?
Yeah, for that truth and taxation.
Okay, yeah, so you keep the regular meeting open and just open the public hearing.
Okay, okay. All right, so we don't need that. So let's go ahead and open the public hearing. Is there any questions out there? Wendy, if you want to do a quick overview.
So, for 2019, we are asking for a levy of $1,239,330, which is about an increase of $112,000 more than last year. However, because of the increase in our tax capacity, our tax rate is actually lower this year than last year. So our tax rate went down about 0.82%, so almost a percentage lower this year than last year. On our budget comparison, our total expenditures for the year are slightly lower this year than last year. So the only place really that we are putting an increase for this year's, for the $112,000, is in our capital improvement plan. And that is because we are looking at doing a road repair over on Emerson Avenue North. If any of you are familiar with Emerson Avenue North, when it goes off of First Street, it's a city street with curb and gutter, and it's a wide street like everywhere else. When you get a little bit further north before the stop sign on Mindy Lane, it narrows way down and there's no curb and gutter, and the road is in really bad shape. So $100,000 that we are looking at putting into the capital improvement plan is to do something with that street before it falls apart. So that's pretty much the difference from last year to this year in a nutshell. Otherwise, everything else pretty much stayed the same.
Is there any questions?
Yeah, Dennis?
Should I come up to the front there, or?
Yes.
Either way.
If you can just state your name and address, that's your fine.
I'm Dennis Kearney, my brother Dean Kearney from Cokato, Minnesota. Want the address?
Yes, please.
15365 60th Street Southwest. And our family owns the 140 acres that's just southeast of town and on the corner of 12 and 25. And if we go back to, I don't remember the exact year, but sometime after my father passed away in '95, the city came to us and asked if we'd annex our farm into your city for future city development down the road, etc. And at that time, we were told it would not cost us anything more in taxes than what we are paying currently in the township. And over the course of time, of course, that is, we're paying a lot more taxes for our farmland now that it's in the city. And I see on one of our parcels, they're asking for a 30% increase. So we'd be paying you folks $7,500 this year on city taxes for the farmland. And I would just like you to comment on that.
I'm going to assume that the assessed value of your property has gone up. Because you're paying the same tax rate as everybody else. So if your value, or if your taxes are going up that much, the assessed value of your property must have increased a lot. Is it the parcel with the solar farm on it?
Yeah.
So I would guess the assessor must have assessed your property a lot higher with that on it.
Well, and what we're hoping to do is to go ahead, there's 3 parcels on that 140 acres. And we want to redo it so that the solar farm is its own parcel. And the rest of the field, the rest of the farmland is a separate parcel. Because in our agreement with the solar folks is that if there's an increase in real estate taxes because of the solar, they will pay the difference. And so that's what we're trying to establish is, and then how much are we paying into the city versus what we would be paying if we're just had remained in the township.
I honestly can't answer that because I don't know what their tax rate is.
Okay.
I don't know the townships, but you'd be able to find that out probably at Wright County
Okay.
Courthouse. And that's where you would have to go to talk to the assessor's office at Wright County and
Okay.
have them look at the assessed value of your property.
Okay. And then one other thing is there's like an open ditch that runs across our property for your storm sewer. And what's happening is now there's trees growing up on each side of that storm sewer. And we're wondering if the city personnel can keep them trees down. Lloyd knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about there, yeah.
That would be.
Yeah, it's the willows in that creek that runs all the way from Billy Babbitt's is there?
We got a letter
Close
from
cross.
Say that?
We got an email from.
Yeah, from me, yeah.
Yeah, we're looking into that. We're
Okay,
trying to figure out what's what there.
okay. But, so you'd be looking at a 30% increase on that one parcel and the other 2 is only 10% increase. What would be the reasoning for that?
The only thing I can say is it's because he must have increased your taxable market value on your property. Because our tax rate our tax rate went down. So the only thing that would make your taxes go up would be that your land is valued at a lot higher than what it was last year.
I see.
And that would be the assessor over in Wright County that does that.
Okay,
So you would have to get in touch with them.
all right.
I'll have to look at it, it says it right out here.
So it didn't go up a lot, it stayed the same.
Not 56%, but like it's on the bottom corner. Maybe it's a typo.
That'd be a pretty big typo.
Well, I mean, that kind of curl in over here. So 15%, when you look at that, 56 in one year.
This is, I can see why, it's right here. You went from ag to commercial. And I'm guessing it's because of the solar farm.
Oh, that's.
That's the difference, it's because he's got commercial on here. So you would have to go talk to the assessor's office and ask them, how come it's now a commercial? Because they do that, we don't do that here.
See, this is why we're here.
Yep, that's what made it go up, because commercial taxes are higher than homestead taxes. Yeah. So both your city and your county taxes went up quite a bit because of that.
Yeah.
So you-
56%.
Yeah, so so if you went over to Wright County to the assessor's office.
That'll be-
Sorry. But if you can do what you said with changing the
You wanna watch me go
changing the
triple-
parcels
triple-
so that the solar farm is on one, that would be the only one that would be commercial, and the rest would be back. And they could probably still do that. So you could probably get it changed before the year gets.
They would have to do that. They'll move up to solar.
Yeah, then you think that makes a difference.
Any other questions?
No,
Anybody else? No?
This was a lot quieter than Wright County public meeting. That one took 2.5 hours.
All right. Well, with that, then we will go ahead and close it. Close the public hearing, so I need a motion to close the public hearing.
I make a motion to close the public hearing. Thanks, sir.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so we'll then move on to Wright County Sheriff's Department. Do we have to reopen it? We have to vote on the levy,
Yes,
or on the budget.
on the resolution.
All right, so then we will need a motion to approve the budget for 2019.
I make a motion to approve the final levy certification for 2019.
It's just, excuse me, it's resolution 2018-30.
Right here. Resolution.
Which,
Second page. Right under truth and taxation.
oh, I see. Okay, I make a motion to approve the 2019 final levy budget resolution 2018-34, a resolution authorizing the 2019 final property tax levy and budget.
All right, now I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-1. Wright County.
I really don't have anything to pass on to you guys unless you have any questions, comments, concerns for me.
You guys got any questions? Tom, you're the new guy. Can't wait to know.
Well, I read the reports, I mean, I don't have any more questions than that, I guess.
All right, we're good. Thank you. Council meetings. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, council. What y'all do this month?
Well, planning and zoning meeting, Parks and Rec, meeting with Wayne McCormick, meeting with Deb Bolter, and the Wright County 2019 budget meeting.
Council meetings, Highway 25 meeting, candidate forum, canvassing board meeting, planning and zoning, and a workshop.
Attended planning and zoning, park and rec, budget meeting.
I was not at planning and zoning. Budget meetings, meetings at staff, council meeting. It's kind of quiet this month. Let's go with Kevin.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. In your packet, first item is the activity report for November. Not a whole lot to report on. I'll touch on the special info acknowledgements in the next section. And then just another acknowledgement, as I do every month, just for all of our staff. This month so far, so we're 10 days in and we already have 11 calls, several of them more major than our norm. So just a big thanks to all of my staff and everything for putting the extra effort in. We're reevaluating whether to keep these 5 guys on, because once they started, everything just kind of started happening, so we'll see how that goes. So, but no, they've been a blessing to have on so far. So. Any questions on the activity report? Next item, I need approval to hire the 5 new firefighters, Joel Grave, Alexandra Heyman, Vincent Manns, Jacob Moen, and John Wick. Their effective start date was November 20th. Their technical start date was December 1st.
I'll make a motion to approve all the hirings for the fire department.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0.
Next item, this kind of caught me off guard a little bit. So when I was at the Chiefs Convention, I learned that the State Fire Marshal was putting on a grant, and they expanded this grant to also include gear dryers. We were able to get a gear extractor for washing our gear back in 2015, and they didn't include dryers at the time. They expanded it to a dryer program now, so I'm like, let's try and whatnot. So I put the grant together in a matter of a couple hours and sent it off thinking, there's no way this is going to happen. I just received word that we got the grant. So a gear dryer costs $8,000.62. Anything in the fire service is always inflated cost because it's the cost of doing business, unfortunately. Anything that they stamp fire on, it just gets expensive. So, but this is a 90% grant through the state fire marshals. We're responsible for 10%, so we're getting an $8,000 gear dryer for a little over $800.
Nice.
So
Awesome.
I need authorization to purchase the gear dryer for a cost of $8,062 with reimbursement from the state fire marshal when everything's said and done.
I'll make a motion for the fire department to get the purchase the gear dryer.
I'll second that.
Okay, Tom?
Aye.
Lloyd?
Aye.
I'll go aye. Roy?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you very much.
Matt?
Mayor, Council, in your packet, you'll have Park and Rec Commission's meeting minutes from our December 3rd meeting. Kind of just a synopsis of that is we had done a recap of our tree lighting event, as well as the ornament decorating, which we had done with the Breakfast with Santa event in conjunction with that. Overall, those events went really well. I mean, due to some of the weather we had that night, the turnout probably for the tree lighting wasn't as much as we would have liked to have seen, but we still had plenty of kids throwing snowballs and sliding down the slopes and stuff like that. So it was still a fun event for everybody who participated in that. Still moving forward on our skate day event, which is January 26th. Kind of just hash out all the details with that. But always everybody coming out, it should be a lot of fun still. Once again, we talked about pickleball. I don't know if we had an opportunity to look at or have an idea of what restricting that would be. Okay. I put some time to try to put together an annual report, which as far as I know in the statutes is a requirement for review of the Parks and Rec. And a lot of that you should see actually in your packet next month. A lot of it's just kind of what we have done in the last year, probably what we're going to be focusing on in the next year to try to keep with maintaining our comprehensive plan for that 2040. So it's just going to be kind of honestly, it's like a 2-page synopsis of all it's going to be. So we'll see that. Hopefully you guys will see that next month. New business, once again, I guess the last one of the year, we were doing our 2019 events. I guess the big one in that is we did not set a date for the Easter egg hunt, and we did not set a date for Bark in the Park. And as of this time, we are not planning to sponsor those events this year. There may be other events that we end up doing. Kind of the synopsis behind that is I think in the last few years we did not see that as being a real park type focus or the amenities things we have with the parks kind of item. We thought there'd be better avenues to try to promote the parks than those two events. We obviously still have skate day. We're still planning on doing Summer Splash, which are definitely really big ones and are really park focused. So, as well as in some of the events, I had thrown together kind of, I would say, a to-do list when I was also going through the annual report, the comprehensive plan, just to try to break up some of the responsibilities of kind of what we wanted to accomplish in the 2019 year. I guess some of the big ones are basically just trying to make sure we focus on repair or what are the, I guess, best bang for the buck things we can do in the existing parks to try to get more utilization for them in different areas. One of the things I'm going to really have to focus on is trying to utilize sections of the regional park You know, can we hold, some kind of recreational event like soccer after Wright County does their rec parks, or their actual rec program is usually in mid-July. You know, maybe we do a little 8-week, once a week, you know, little soccer type thing up there. I know I gotta get back in with lacrosse, but Buffalo Lacrosse has always been looking for some additional area, just to do practices. And that's gonna be somewhere to work with Wayne just to make sure we're not gonna tear it up. But, so, try to focus in on that, focus in on trying to use what we have to the best of what we can do. Especially since before we start dropping the money in regional park, and maybe we can at least utilize it as a green space for it, get some use out of it. Other than that, there were some little things. Otherwise, 2019 appointments. I was voted by the council to be the chairperson again. Barry accepted the vice chair position, and then we had left the secretary position vacant as of this time because we did not get any nominations for that particular position. But Jessica so graciously decided to help us keep up with all the meeting minutes, and she's actually doing a really good job. I don't want us to fill that position. So
You're still short a few numbers.
we're still within our realm. It's 3 to 7 is what our statutes call for, and we have 3. So I know we had talked with Jessica about possibly even in the newsletter trying to get some, I wouldn't call it advertising, but try to advertise that, both planning and zoning as well as park and rec could use. I'd love to see a few members on for both of them, just to try to see if there's any interest. But other than that, that's about all I had. Any other questions, concerns, frustrations? No?
I have a concern.
Okay.
Park and Rec is, I understand you're, I missed the meeting, so I wasn't part of the discussion.
Okay.
I understand going after, expanding into the park thing, but it's also recreational things. And I'm a little concerned about the Easter egg hunt, because that is the biggest event in the community. I mean, it is an expense, but it's minimal, $300, to have all the kids participate in that. So Easter is later in the month this year. I think we found out it's like the 21st of April, which then would bring, if we were to do the egg hunt, it would be the 20th of April, and getting it out into the park. So I think we can maybe look at that in January again as a discussion to continue it.
I think it's definitely an option to discuss it again. I have no problems with that. Like you're saying, when we're going through the to-do list, it's going to be one of those things where I'm probably not going to be the organizer for that, to try to keep everything else. But if there is anybody who wants to, I would say, spearhead that activity with, I guess, the assistance of Park and Rec, or even any additional, I guess, park board members that wanted to organize that one, we don't have any problems with helping. But that was definitely the one that was really hard, because I know of the participation.
Right.
There's a lot of people that come here.
Yep.
But another caveat was the issue with that, if we have to do it back in here, trying to utilize these spaces as best we can, having a number of years having a really hard time do it outside with other things like that. We talked about trying to maybe do it at different parks where we can get, more area, more spread out. Do we try to do, instead of doing, 4,000 eggs, we try to limit it to, 500, and then try to, get, bigger prizes or something like that, versus, at least maybe for the bigger kids, we do something outside, but for the smaller kids, we still just do, 2,000 eggs that are just spread out here. But for the bigger kids, we stay out of the fire department, maybe stay over there, and we kind of kicked it on a little bit. In the end, we just decided to, at this time, we haven't totally taken it up, but we have not set a date to do it, so.
As a liaison, can I spear that one up? Yeah? Okay. I mean, I'm not opposed to doing whatever needs to be done for that event. If that's what it takes, is for somebody just to take it and go with it, because it's just too big an event for the kids. It's really hard to let that go, but we can look for volunteers and discuss it in January.
Yeah, I mean, hate to do it, I hate to take anything off when it's already been kind of established, but
Right, right.
it was just kind of, when it was discussed with the park, it was kind of just saying that nobody wanted to take it on, so it was just gonna be kind of bookshelved and hope it comes back, but.
And one thing about that, you know, the weather is always a big factor in that.
That's what it is with any event we tend to do.
Yeah, it could be raining and storming in summer
I
splash.
mean,
But,
Sunday Flash is actually the last couple of years has been really good,
But
but
we still did it.
skate day we got on season with warm weather,
Yeah,
so it gets really slushy. I mean, the tree lighting event, it was storming an hour before.
yeah,
So, like you said, it's always hit or miss,
right,
but
okay. We have many months to figure
I know,
out.
and there's
Okay.
it. Any other questions, concerns, frustrations? Exactly.
We need motions then to approve you guys for your new chair, correct? Yep. So I will go ahead and make a motion then to have Matt Russell continue as a chairperson for Park and Rec.
I'll second that.
Tom,
Aye.
I'll vote aye, and Lloyd.
Aye.
Roy.
Aye.
All right, and I will make a motion then to approve Barry Reinberger as the co-chair,
I'll second that.
and Lloyd.
Aye.
Roy.
Aye.
I'll vote aye, and Tom.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0 on both. And Jess, you'll continue as secretary for now? Perfect, thank you.
Good?
All right, thank you.
And thank you for a good job.
Planning and zoning, we will have minutes at next month's meeting. Wayne,
Oh, the Upper property, we're looking to dig a test well.
Mhm.
And if the water is good there, we'd like to purchase that property and put up a water plant as well.
do we have a price on that yet? If we were to purchase,
No,
Nothing happened.
we haven't discussed that.
just waiting on the results?
But roughly to drill the test well is about 22,000.
Okay.
And if the water is good, then we talk about purchasing the property.
You need a motion for us to approve that? Okay, I will then make a motion to approve the testing of Outer Apple property for the test well.
I'll second that.
I will vote aye. Roy?
Aye.
Lloyd? And Tom?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Any old business? Nothing. New business is canceled out. And upcoming meetings, planning and zoning is Wednesday, December 19th, here at 7 p.m. Park and Rec has a meeting on Monday, January 7th at 5:30. We're looking for anybody who wants to join us, as well as planning and zoning. January 14th is the next council meeting, and January 16th is the next planning and zoning. Any acknowledgements?
Yeah,
You have the liquor license too.
The consent agenda.
Oh, that was on the consent, sorry.
Yes, sorry.
Tom.
Tom.
Yeah, I complimented the guys from Public Works when they're out cleaning the streets out in front of my house. I know they get a lot of complaints, but I told them they did a very good job and they're all pleased with themselves. Yeah.
And the fire department for responding there last week. Quite a show.
I have all of the Montrose Days Committee for doing a great job with Breakfast with Santa, as well as Park and Rec doing the tree ornaments, which was Barry, Sylvia, and Matt. Christina Oswald, who last minute volunteered and did all the pictures with Santa. And of course, Santa for coming out. Jess for doing all the shopping for us. The fire department for everything that they did on December 1st. As well as our new guys, Joel and Vinny, for showing up at caroling with us. The PAC for Santa's Secret Shop. Applejacks for donating hot chocolate and the carafes for caroling event. And Kevin for going after that grant so quickly and getting approved. Anybody else? Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Says, is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. We are adjourned.
I do want to wish everybody a happy holidays.
Is that the shortest December meeting?
It's better than it. I knew I did, Jeff.